Welcome to another edition of the CS Podcast, where you can hear interviews with special guests such as
Dayon Buchanan, Tom Waddle, Pierre Desir, Brent Berry, Ed Werder,
and many others.
Too big, too strong, too fast, too good.
So be sure to subscribe and tune in to the CS Podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/ChristianRE722.
Did you not get the memo?
That's www.youtube.com/ChristianRE722 for great interviews. Be sure to check out the CS Podcast.
You are ridiculous.
Welcome back to the CS Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Shanafel, and I'm now joined by 2015 NFL Draft prospect, wide receiver, running back, jack of all trades, really, out of Wake Forest, Orville Reynolds. I appreciate you taking some time to chat. Orville, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, sir. How about yourself?
It's going all right, man. It's going all right. Certainly cannot complain. And let's get right to it. I know you're from Florida, and you were a standout in high school. You had many D1 schools such as Duke, Marshall, Western Kentucky, and others interested in you. But you decided to attend Wake Forest. I just want to start this interview off by asking you a pretty simple question, and that is, coming out of high school and being from Florida, how did you decide to attend Wake Forest University in North Carolina and play for the Demon Deacons?
Well, my mom had a big input in that decision. She really wanted me to get a good education because, football's not for long, so it was really good for me to get a good education so when football's over, I could do something good in the world.
Well, and you were actually the only true freshman to play for the Demon Deacons in 2011. Before committing to Wake Forest, did you have any idea that you'd be playing as a true freshman, or did that kind of come as a surprise to you?
I pretty much expected to, so I was just waiting my turn just to whenever the coaches was ready to put me out there, so I was pretty excited about that.
You played your first 2 years at Wake Forest. You played running back for those first 2 years. Also, you were a key contributor on special teams as kick and punt returner. As a junior, you switched from playing to running back to wide receiver. What did you think about that change?
I really actually loved it because in high school I really wanted to play more receiver, but in high school our coaches, we decided to run the wing T, so we really don't throw the ball that much out of the wing T, so since they wanted the ball in my hands, I stuck with running back, but to me it really didn't even matter, just as long as we had a good game plan and I could be involved, so
well, I think
it really didn't matter to me.
Absolutely, and I think it's safe to say that you had your most productive season as you brought in 12 receptions for over 160 yards and 2 touchdowns as a junior. Not bad at all, especially for it being your first season playing wide receiver. Now, with that being said, what were your expectations this past season, knowing that it'll be your final go-around at the college level?
Well, I was pretty excited to come in and play receiver because Michael Campanella was in the slot, so they had me playing outside, so that was pretty cool. I got to watch him from the outside and kind of learn from him how he would read defenses, so that really upped my game, learning from him. And then I came into my senior season ready to move into the slot, and then our coaches resigned, and then we got the new coaches from Bowling Green, and a couple running backs got kicked out of our program, so we were kind of thin at running back, and they said, who else can play running back? So the first name that came up was me, so they put me in up there, and then by the end of spring, I was starting at running back, which I had no idea was going to happen, but, I'm ready to play whatever, so I didn't complain.
And, of course, this past season probably didn't go as planned. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons finished 3-9, although you guys did have a pretty impressive double overtime victory over Georgia Tech late in the season. I know it's been a little over a month, but has it sunk in yet that you've played in your final college football game?
I really don't even think it's sunk in. I still feel like I'm going to go out there and put a helmet on when I go back for spring football, but, I'm just still out here training, just trying to stay ready for whatever comes my way.
Right, and I know you guys lost that final game of the season to Duke. I believe it was 42-21, something like that. Obviously, losing your final college football game isn't the way you wanted to end your Wake Forest football career. But looking back throughout the last 4 years, how would you describe not only this past season, but your overall experience at Wake Forest?
It was interesting. For me, I've had 2 head coaches. I've played 3 different positions, and I've had 4 different position coaches. So I I've really been all over the place. So it was just interesting. It really just made me an all-around better football player because I don't even just understand outside receiver. I also understand reading zones from the slot and blitz pickup from running back. So when I'm on the field or when I'm watching football, I kind of see the whole big picture other than just seeing from one position. So it really, in the big picture, it kind of made it better for me because my football IQ is a lot better than what it was when it came in.
Do you feel that with all the switching of coaches, whether it was the head coach or position coaches, do you think that impacted your football career in a negative way at all?
I kind of believe that everything happens for a reason, and I just never complained about anything. If they tell me to go return kicks, or if they want me to play slot, or they want me to start at outside receiver or running back, it really didn't matter to me as long as I could help the team. So I always had that in the back of my head. Even my first offer coming out of high school was as a defensive back at Duke. So I was always ready, even if I came to Wake, to play cornerback. So it really didn't matter.
Chris Schanfeld talking to 2015 NFL draft prospect, wide receiver, running back, like I said, jack of all trades out of Wake Forest, Orville Reynolds, and Orville, the ACC has a ton of talent, so this may be a tough one to answer, but throughout your entire college football career, who would you say is the best or most impressive player you've had to line up against?
Let me see. That's a tough one because I've kind of been all over the place.
Right.
I can say that one of the best players I've ever played with is probably Michael Campanaro because I got to learn a lot from him. I could definitely say that. I've seen him in practice. I've seen him in the game. He's someone who does all the right things, catches the ball with his hands, and that's something that I tried to adopt and everything. So if I was on another team, that's who I would be worried about.
No opponents really stick out to you, though, huh?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, well, how about this? If you had to single out one, what's the biggest or most memorable play that you've made?
Probably when we played ULM early in the game, I scored for the touchdowns in that game. So I think it was the first quarter, I had a 60-something yard touchdown, and then when we came down to the final 4 seconds of the game, I caught a ball at the back of the end zone. And then, that almost tied it up. We had to go for the two to tie it up, but we lost. But, for a few minutes, I really thought that was the game-winning touchdown. So that little moment, that kind of sticks with me for a little while.
All right, and of course, as we know, Wake Forest, they definitely have their fair share of guys that have made it to the NFL. Wide receiver Michael Campanaro, he's now with the Baltimore Ravens. Running back Josh Harris, he's now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They'll actually be playing in a playoff game later on. Is there any chance that you've been able to talk to anybody, whether it's one of those two guys or not, that has had any type of experience at the next level, and have they given you any advice as to what to expect during this draft process?
Well, just be ready to do anything because there's a lot of people that I know that are really good and they really, really got their heart set on playing one position. But I'm ready if whatever they ask me to do, I'm going to do it. So hopefully I'm not trying to take up one roster spot. I'm trying to take up 4, 5, 6, So just try to make my value as important as possible. Just do anything they ask me to. So just be open to do whatever. If you're really trying to make a team, that's what I'm trying to do.
Hey, the more the better. The more you can do, the better. So definitely hear you on that. Now, what do you feel is your biggest strength as a football player? Like we mentioned, you're very versatile. You could play running back. You could play receiver. It sounds like you're willing to play wherever the coach asks you to play. What do you feel is your biggest strength as a football player?
Definitely my speed. Because any position they ask me to play, I'm going to do whatever they tell me. I'm just going to do it as fast as possible. And my hands, definitely because I played receiver for a few years, I definitely had to pick that up pretty fast. So I did probably double the amount of drills for catching and everything. So that went to a strength for me real quick. So I'm pretty confident in that. So.
How about a weakness? Anything specific you plan on working on to improve during the off season?
Definitely route running because I can run fast and I can catch. So if I can get better with my routes, then I can't just run flies all day. So that's what I'm really working on with Coach Sly and premier athletes down in South Florida. They're helping me on my routes, and that's one of the hot spots in Florida. So.
Hey, sounds good. Sounds good. Now, Orville, let's say there's an NFL general manager listening to this very interview. Why should he want wide receiver, running back, jack of all trades, Orville Reynolds out of Wake Forest a part of his team?
Why not? Because I'll do everything, and any team that I'm on, I'm going to die for the team. That's what I do. I do everything and anything, all the time, full speed. That's just how I think.
Hey, that's all that needs to be said. That's all that needs to be said. Chris Schanfeld talking to 2015 NFL draft prospect out of Wake Forest, Orville Reynolds, here on the CS podcast. And Orville, just a few more questions before I let you go. I really do appreciate your time. Is there anybody currently playing in the NFL today that you would compare yourself to?
I really like Tavon Austin in the slot for the Rams, and I really do like Deshaun Jackson outside for the Redskins. So they're basically my size and my weight. And one plays inside and one plays outside, so that just lets people know it's possible. So I really do whatever.
All right, Tavon Austin, Deshaun Jackson, definitely cannot go wrong with those two guys.
And Darren Sproles.
All right,
Darren Sproles.
Darren Sproles, and why is that? Is that just because he's a smaller guy that's able to play running back? He could definitely run the ball and catch the ball out of the backfield.
Exactly. I love guys like that.
They're definitely fun to watch. Now, Orville, I got to think scouts have been in and out of Wake Forest to see you and some of your teammates. Any chance that you've been able to speak with any or have any idea what they might be saying about you?
They just know that I'm a good player and I'll do whatever for the team. They know. They tell me all the time. They say, man, you should play this position. Oh, you should play this. But it's always a different position, so I really don't know who to listen to. So I know they always have something nice to say about me because I'm a team player.
Well, hey, that's definitely got to be encouraging, I got to think. Now, last but not least, here's a fun one to end the interview. What's something about yourself that many people may not know?
Well, let me see. Well, I really did. My senior year in high school, I was the second fastest in Florida, and I was the sixth fastest in the nation because I ran a 10.3 in the 100-meter dash, and I went to states and everything. So track is one of my passions. So every time I walk past the track, I just wonder what if. But yeah, I really do love that.
So you were one of those guys that said, no, I'm number one in the nation. I'm the fastest guy in the world right here.
Yeah, right here. Somebody, they got to line it up. They got to prove it to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Orville, I really do appreciate your time, man. It really was great speaking with you. I'm definitely wishing you nothing but the best throughout this process. You have anything else for us before I let you go?
No, I'm just ready for whatever. I really appreciate the interview.
All right. Well, once again, thank you very much, and take care. All right, man?
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.